The next thing I'm going to do, and that's kind of just for this here, is that little microphone I'm going to have, I'm going to try and glue it to the side of the cup, just so it can hopefully hear sounds a little better, since, as I said, for the Ranger class team, that's one of the things you're going to have to work on. So again, I'm just going to get a little bit of 5-minute epoxy.
A hint for you Ranger class team, if you go, how many of you have been to the competition website? How many of you have ever looked on the resources section? How many of you have ever gone into the construction tips section? How many of you would like to know how to build a simple hydrophone? Oh, yeah. How many of you will now go to that place and visit that section of the page?
Let's try some brainstorming. What other uses can the hydrophone provide for your ROV?
We passed 5 minutes?
Yeah. Quite a bit. Let's say you push the forward button, switches on your ROV, and she doesn't go forward. Do you think you can get any information back from your microphones of what's going on? You hear a scraping sound? What do you think's going on? Maybe it's against the bottom? What if you don't hear anything?
Not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
The worst thing ever.
Well, maybe your motors aren't turning.
Or maybe your microphone's not working.
And on the professional ROVs, having a microphone around that can hear your motors running isn't a bad thing. How many people have seen the Ventana Ambari's ROV? About the size of a Volkswagen.
The new one or the old one?
The old one. They had an outflow pipe on there for water that was coming up from the system, and they had a fake squid that you use for fishing hanging off the end of this. So they could see it in the camera. If the little fins were moving, they knew there was water flowing. Which of these tools is not used by Ambari for collecting samples? A kitchen colander, a kitchen spoon, a baseball, and yeah, that's enough.
Baseball.
I hear baseball. Any others?
Spoon.
Trick question, they're all used. They use the kitchen colander to grab up and pick up samples. They use the spoon also to pick up samples. Sometimes you'll have, how many are doing Explorer class? Does the Ranger class do the agar?
They do.
Oh, you have to sample the agar. Well, they have a similar problem. They have to go to the bottom of the ocean and they have to sample mud. So they'll have a cylinder with 2 little valves on the top and they'll plunge this into the water. Well, for the top to hold it, they'll often mount a baseball. They'll drill a hole through it and glue that in place. What kind of glue do you think they use?
Okay, so this camera's probably been set long enough, so we're going to test and see how good a job I did of steady hands. I think it's going to be not a very good one, but...
And Matt doesn't even drink coffee. What's the deal?
That might be the problem.
No, really, might need to start.
It's not awake yet. I think you turned it off again.
Yep.
Yeah, it gets mine.
Okay, so we're getting a picture, but what you'll notice is this part of the picture is pretty fuzzy, isn't it? That means that I didn't do a great job, and this is essentially trying to look through a little bit, thin bit of glue. So generally, at this point, I'd have to decide, do I want to try and do this again, or do I want to work with this, okay? And that's going to be up to you. Normally, I would say, this is enough of it, you know, I've got a good 25% of the screen, you know, not seeing very well. So I probably want to redo this. Get a different cup or maybe try a different part of the cup. But for this demonstration, we're going to say I did a really good job. And okay.
Bravo! Ausgezeichnet.
So then we're going to pour the slow curing epoxy. And how we do that is, again, you'll notice one of the jars has black writing and a black cap. The other jar has white writing and a white cap. You always want to keep those the same. And again, we want to do a 50-50 mixture. So I'm going to pour some of the white stuff into this cap. Yeah, and I'll have marks on here to
assist.
Yep. Stop. And then we're going to do the same amount in this one, so I'm going to set them next to each other so I can judge when we have the same amount. Okay, and then in a third jar, we're going to mix these together. Just stir stick to scrape as much of this out as possible.
So for the 5-minute epoxy, you want to kind of mix fast. This stuff, you've got plenty of time. Take your time, get a good mix.
And you'll notice I use a different stir stick for each of these cups so I can keep using the same one over and over. If I use the same stir stick, okay, so this is a mix, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start mixing this for about a minute to 2 minutes. As Jeremy was saying, you can mix this. If you want to mix it for 5 minutes, that's okay as well, because this isn't going to harden anytime soon. And the next decision I need to make is what color do I want my camera? Preferences, Jeremy?
Fluorescent pink.
Fluorescent pink.
I concur.
You don't have to make it color.
It's cooler that way.
The blue does come out really nice.
But so does fluorescent pink.
Yellow.
So I'm going to do 2 drops of blue. And we'll go a drop of red. And I'm going to keep mixing this through.
Ooh,
It's getting a purplish color.
Purple.
I said pink.
You did.
We're all colorblind. It's really pink. Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
And so, as I was saying, just you want to keep stirring this. It's not going to harden anytime quick, so you just want to get it mixed well. And you already noticed there are some bubbles. You can see some bubbles in there, but they will come out of the solution because this is going to be drying for many hours. So they will, many hours.
Question.
4 to 8. Yep. So they will come to the surface.
So if I wanted pink polka dots in with that, could I put in little pink drops of something, a pink,
You could
like
try.
little pieces of paper or something in there?
Yeah, if you wanted to put glitter or something in there, you could probably do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that.